Can I please have Christopher to the stage? Chris is Nancy's son and will be sharing their story.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Scott, and the LGBT Fallen Heroes Fund for having us here today to recognize my mom, Nancy Lipman, who spent 30 years with the Chicago Police Department. Before I talk about her, I do want to recognize her favorite people in the world who are here today: Joanne, her spouse, and partner for many years, her 3 grandchildren, Matthew, Abby, and Sean. Her daughter-in-law and my wife, Diana, and her brother-in-law, Gene. Sorry, thought I'd get farther. My mom joined the Chicago Police Department in the early 1980s, a female, lesbian, single mother. You may not all know this, but hers was not exactly the face of the Chicago Police Department in the early 1980s. While growing up, as many kids do, I considered her my hero in every way, a feeling that was bolstered by the fact that she was a police officer. It wasn't until much later in life that I realized the depth of her role in changing so many of the preconceived notions of her fellow officers, and hopefully making the path quite a bit easier for so many that would follow her. I'd like to tell a quick story that I think summarizes my mom's time on the job and how she changed so many hearts and minds. It starts with her as a young patrol officer, badgering a tactical sergeant in her district over the fact that there were no women on the district's tactical team, and in fact that there had been no women on the district's tactical team. The sergeant, Russ Schaefer, who became a near and dear friend to my mom over the years, had the foresight many didn't at the time and gave her a shot. In either a strategic move or one of complete luck, Russ partnered my mom with Pete, who, as the story goes, was a bit uncertain about partnering with a woman. You can't blame him. This was new territory at the time. Russ asked Pete to give it till the end of the tour, and if he didn't want to work with my mom, Russ would reassign him. Shortly after, Pete and my mom got a call of a man with a gun. They respond. My mom jumps out of the passenger seat before Pete can even get his seatbelt off. Pete's not slow, but he's about 6'5" and just takes a little more movement to get out of a vehicle than my mom did. She caught the man. He got a gun off the street. Pete shortly popped into Russ's office, kind of looked around the corner and said, "Hey, Sarge, I think we're going to be good." And the two remained partner for several years after that, and also became close family friends. This story was repeated in different ways as she rose up through the ranks, conquering not only being, one of the, few females in the department, but also a lesbian member of the department. Eventually, she became the sergeant and then the lieutenant of that tactical team that had previously never had a female, eventually becoming commander of the Chicago's Mass Transit Division. And I believe that she changed many people's minds, not just about hers, but others like her along the way. I also can't talk about my mom without mentioning the dozens of animals she rescued over the years. And when I say dozens, it may be 100 plus. Countless of them ended up living with us, and many more adopted out to any family she could find that would not provide them a good home. In fact, there are many stories of officers calling her through the years when they would find a family of dogs or cats living in an abandoned home or something like that. It was always call Nancy and she'll come take care of these animals. And while her career in animal rescue are to be admired, I think her greatest pride was her family. She was an amazing mom. She loved Joanne deeply. It was with Joanne that she seemed to finally find happiness and contentment in life. She was really the fun grandma to her grandkids. One of my favorite memories of her was once she had broken her ankle and was at the splash pad with them in a wheelchair, in her bathing suit, going through the sprinklers with her grandchildren, because that's just the kind of person she was. She was an amazing person in so many ways, and there's so many stories I could tell here today. We miss her greatly. I want to finish by expressing my appreciation to all those being remembered today. I'm sure each one has touched more lives than any of you know. Thank you.
As Christopher said, Joanne is here, her 3 grandchildren, her daughter-in-law, and her son-in-law.